You pick it up before you even remember deciding to. Your alarm goes off, and before your eyes fully open, your hand is already moving. You haven't thought about the weather, or your plans, or another human being. You've thought about your phone. And somewhere in the back of your mind, you probably already know this isn't great. But here's the thing. Your brain doesn't have a flaw. It has a feature, and that feature was built for a world that no longer exists. The real answer to why you can't stop checking your phone is far stranger than you think. It reaches back hundreds of thousands of years, through forests and savannas, into a version of your brain that was solving a completely different problem. A problem that had nothing to do with notifications, and everything to do with survival. To understand what's happening in your skull every time you reach for that screen, you need to understand something called the dopamine system. Dopamine is not the pleasure chemical. That's the popular story, and it's wrong. Neuroscientist Wolfram Schultz spent decades studying dopamine neurons in primates, and what he discovered in the 1990s rewrote everything. Dopamine is not released when you get a reward. It's released when you expect one, when the outcome is uncertain, when you don't know if something is there. That distinction changes everything. Your brain evolved in a world of unpredictable information. Where is the food? Which path is safe? Is that sound a threat or just wind? Every moment of uncertainty your ancestors faced required rapid, motivated searching behavior. And the brain mechanism that drove that search, the thing that pushed your ancestors to keep looking, keep scanning, keep reaching, was dopamine. The reward wasn't finding. The reward was looking. Now, hold that thought. In 2012, researcher Tristan Harris was working inside Google when he started noticing something that disturbed him. The apps being built were not just designed to be useful. They were being designed to exploit the same uncertainty loop Schultz had identified in primates. Infinite scroll, variable refresh rewards, notification badges. Every design choice was engineered to keep your dopamine system in a state of perpetual anticipation. The food is maybe there. Just keep looking. The smartphone, without anyone officially deciding this, had become the most precisely optimized dopamine delivery mechanism in human history. And your brain, a brain shaped by 200,000 years of needing to scan its environment for unpredictable, potentially life-saving information, had no defense against it. But why does it feel so urgent? Why does the pull feel almost physical? Here is where your ancient past gets very specific. Your ancestors did not survive alone. The single most dangerous thing that could happen to a human being in the prehistoric world was not a predator. It was social exclusion. Being cut from the group meant no food sharing, no protection, no reproduction. Being ignored was a death sentence. And so your brain evolved an early warning system, a social monitoring circuit that is always running, always scanning for signals of where you stand in the group. Are you liked? Are you needed? Are you safe? For hundreds of thousands of years, that system had nothing to scan between sundown and sunrise. You were with your people or you weren't. You knew. But now, in every quiet moment, your social monitoring circuit asks the same ancient question. What is happening with the group? And your phone is holding the answer. Maybe. That uncertainty is the trap psychologist B.J. Fogg at Stanford has spent years mapping what he calls behavior design, the science of what makes certain behaviors automatic and compulsive. His research shows that a behavior becomes a loop when it combines three elements: a trigger, an action, and a variable reward. Checking your phone has all three. The trigger is every idle second. The action is the reach. The reward is variable. Sometimes there's something, sometimes nothing, sometimes something extraordinary. That variability is the key. A predictable reward trains a calm habit. An unpredictable reward trains an obsession. Think about slot machines. No one gets addicted to vending machines. You put in $1, you get a snack, and you walk away. But a slot machine, where the reward is uncertain, where you might win nothing or win everything, pulls something much deeper out of the human nervous system. Your phone is a slot machine you carry in your pocket. And here's where it gets stranger still. Your brain does not just respond to the uncertainty of what's on the screen. It has begun to predict that reaching for the phone will reduce an unpleasant feeling. Boredom, loneliness, low-grade anxiety, social threat. Every time you reached for your phone and felt a small relief, a laugh, a like, a distraction, your brain logged that, filed it, built a neural shortcut that says, this feeling goes away when you do that thing. Over thousands of repetitions, that shortcut becomes almost invisible. You don't decide to check your phone. You are already checking it before the decision forms. Neuroscientist Kent Berridge at the University of Michigan has described this distinction with a concept he calls wanting versus liking. Liking is the experience of pleasure. Wanting is the drive to seek. And these two systems can become completely decoupled. You can want something intensely that doesn't actually make you feel good anymore. The wanting system, driven by dopamine, can run on empty, pulling you toward behaviors that stopped satisfying you a long time ago. Sound familiar? This is why you can put the phone down, feel resolved, and find it back in your hand 6 minutes later without fully understanding how it got there. The wanting ran ahead of the liking. Your seeking system fired before your conscious mind caught up. So, what do you do with this? The first thing you do is stop calling it weakness. Your brain is not broken. It is responding to a technology that was purpose-built to hijack the most ancient circuits in your nervous system. You are not losing to your phone because you lack discipline. You are losing because billions of dollars in engineering, talent, and psychological research were pointed at the exact vulnerabilities your ancestors needed to survive. The second thing you do is understand what the phone is masking, because the pull is almost never really about the phone. It's about the discomfort underneath, the loneliness, the boredom, the low hum of anxiety that your brain would rather scroll past than sit with. Your ancestors didn't have the option to escape that discomfort. They had to feel it, respond to it, solve it through the actual social and physical world around them. You have an escape hatch, and it's glowing in your pocket. And the third thing you notice is this: the scanning behavior your brain evolved for uncertainty. The restless, seeking what's out there loop is not something to destroy. It is the same force that makes you curious, creative, driven. The brain that cannot stop checking its phone is also the brain that builds things, asks questions, and refuses to settle. That seeking is not the enemy. It just needs a different world to search. Tonight, when you reach for your phone and catch yourself, in that tiny half-second before the screen lights up, you'll be touching the oldest part of yourself. A creature that evolved to scan, to search, to never stop looking for what matters. The tragedy is not that you have that brain. The tragedy is that the thing it's been pointed at is a rectangle of glass, and the world it was built for. The forest, the fire, the faces of the people who kept you alive is still out there, waiting to be looked at. You were built to search for something real. Phone just got there first. That's the science behind why you reach for it. But knowing why doesn't make the pull disappear. It just makes it visible. So here's a question for you. When's the last time you caught yourself mid-reach before the screen lit up? Tell me in the comments. I want to know if this one hit different, and if your brain just did the thing it does, that restless, curious, can't stop looking thing, point it here instead. Subscribe, because every week I dig into another weird, ancient piece of code still running inside your modern brain. Your attention isn't broken. It's just been pointed at the wrong thing for a while. Let's fix that. One video at a time. I'll see you in the next one.